Yes, now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Thomas Rants YouTube channel. It's time to talk Clash in Paris. I made the prediction videos a couple of days ago. It happened a couple of days ago. I've not talked about it yet, and I will talk about it, and I'll talk about it right now. First match out was the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, taking on the Tribal Thief, Big Bronson Reed. Now, I said this match was a big break for Bronson Reed, and they're probably going to do the same with Braun Breaker. It's a moment for them to shine against a legendary superstar, the best of this generation. That doesn't mean they have to win. They have to have spots in the match, give off some moves, put up a fight, and they'll be put over. And that's exactly what happened. Roman Reigns still got the win, still got his moment, and that's what I liked. That's what I wanted. That's what I predicted to be. And it was amazing. And Roman Reigns had his moment with the crowd of everyone acknowledging him, including Post Malone and Jelly Roll, who were in the crowd in Paris, which I loved. I mean, we know Jelly Roll's a wrestling fan. I'm not sure how big of a wrestling fan Post Malone is, but that was so cool to see them there, given that I love Post Malone that much. And I'm a fan of Jelly Roll. And I'm seeing the pair of them literally next week, like in less than a week. I'm going to be seeing them live in London, which is crazy. But after the match, it wasn't done. Roman Reigns decided he want to get his own back on Paul Heyman and decided to choke him out. That's when Braun and Bronson came out to attack Roman and injured him. But here's the thing. Reigns, after the attack, he was hit with a spear in a tsunami, and then the EMTs came out to put him on a stretcher for two wrestling moves that get hit every week and people aren't injured. Do you know what I mean? It seems stupid that he's just went through a nearly 30-minute match with Bronson Reed, but the second he gets hit with a spear and a tsunami, he has to be put on a stretcher. Whatever. But he gets put on the stretcher, and Bronson Reed's not done. While he's taped down the stretcher, Bronson Reed hits another tsunami, meaning Roman Reigns can't walk away from it. That's when Jey Uso comes out and make the save, sacrificing himself because Jey has a match later that night, and he goes against Roman's advice that he was giving him on Monday Night Raw, where Roman said, don't bother yourself in other people's business. Don't bother trying to be no one's friend. Don't bother trying to help no one. Stick to yourself. Stick to what's important, and that's how you'll win. And Jey went against that to go help his cousin Roman Reigns, which is understandable. I feel like very understandable. And this was the right move from WWE. They've obviously written Roman Reigns off of TV for a while. I don't know. Maybe they want him to come back at Royal Rumble and win the Rumble. I don't know if that's likely. But who knows where it's going. They're probably going to get him back. He's probably going to go after Braun Breaker, and he'll probably go after Seth at some point. So, I don't care. I'm excited to see wherever it goes. I'm just happy with the result. The second match out was the Street Profits versus the Wyatt Six. I said, don't know why this match was on the card. It was made pretty last minute. Wyatt Six need to retain. I'm bored of Wyatt Six Street Profits. And I thought maybe it happening at Clash in Paris so quickly, something interesting might happen storyline-wise between Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. Nothing happened. Plain and simple, the Wyatt Six just won. And that's what I wanted. That's fine. But it didn't need to be on the card. That could have happened on SmackDown. And we could have had AJ Dominic Mysterio on this card. We really could have. That would have really made the card better. I do appreciate France singing the Wyatt Six theme tune. That's amazing. French crowds are the best crowds. The only crowd I would put up for debate against French crowds is Puerto Rico. But the only reason I can't is because they've only went to Puerto Rico once, and it was in a small arena. So was that noise limited to the one event because Bad Bunny was there? Was that noise limited to the fact it was a small arena? I don't know. But WWE will have to go back to Puerto Rico so I can decide whether it's Puerto Rico or it's France who's the best crowd, because we know Lyon is the loudest, but Paris held their own. Let's be honest. Paris kept it up to par. It's France in general. It is fantastic. Now, anyway, next fight was Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella. Now, I'm a bit surprised by the finish of this match, not by the winner. I predicted Becky to win. Becky needed to win. If Nikki won, I would have been mad. But first of all, Nikki Bella did very good in this match. This was her best match since her return. Dare I say, one of her best matches I've ever seen. I don't know if that equates to when she had the Divas Championship, but this was a great match. You can tell she trained. You can tell her getting back into wrestling is starting to pay off now. You know, the ring rust is gone. That was a great match from Nikki Bella, I'll be honest. And the way Becky won was by a roll-up. The same roll-up that Bayley used. The same roll-up she used on Bayley, to win that triple threat match. And she used it on Nikki Bella. And, yeah, got the win. As she should have. Becky should not be losing that title. She's on a roll on the mic, in the stories, in the ring. Becky Lynch is top tier. So much of the fact she's come back to WWE and took over Rhea Ripley's popularity. Say what you want. I know Rhea Ripley gets screamed out of the building every time she enters and Becky Lynch gets booed. But in terms of who's more relevant, Becky Lynch is the most relevant female in WWE right now. And she's done that in a matter of 4 months from coming back from WrestleMania. Having a banging storyline with Lyra Valkyria and having a banging Intercontinental title run. It has been fantastic. Anyway, that match, the Street Profits match and the next match, I didn't pay too much attention to in terms of the in-ring action because I was preoccupied, but I had it on. And the next match would be the Sheamus Rusev Donnybrook match. I'm happy this was on Clash in Paris. It wouldn't have harmed it if it wasn't on there and we had AJ Dominic instead, but I already said that should have been the tag team matches place, let's be honest. I'm assuming it was a good match. I mean, I saw bits of it. Donnybrook match, people going through tables, crazy spots. But I expected Sheamus to win. With Sheamus having limited time left, people liking Sheamus, and WWE wanting to hopefully treat Sheamus a bit more seriously on the back end of his career. I thought he'd win this one, but no, Rusev won. So that was the only prediction I got wrong. But it's not the end of the world because I get it. They're trying to build Rusev, and this is a big win for Rusev. And you know what? The finish wasn't too bad. Donnybrook in the mouth turns it into an accolade with a massive leaning back accolade like he did to Kalisto, except not as brutal as Kalisto. Kalisto fully bended his spine. Sheamus doesn't have the capabilities of that. He just used his knees. So Rusev got the win, and I'm not mad at it because I see why. Fair enough. That was quite a 50-50 one for me anyway. I would have preferred Sheamus to win. But I get it. The next match out, the co-main event, shall we call it, because John Cena, Logan Paul, they cooked, I'll be honest. And I said this in Logan Paul's match at SummerSlam, in the tag team match. Logan Paul's impressing me more and more as he gets in the ring. Now, I know he impressed us in our first appearance, and since then, we've all been saying, he impresses me more and more every time. I've kind of been, he's all right, he's good for someone who doesn't come from a wrestling background, a professional wrestling background. And yes, for for where he comes from, for not being a wrestler, he is the best celebrity wrestler, no doubt. But in terms of comparing him to the other wrestlers, there is levels, and it's not that Logan Paul can't reach that level, it's just that these other wrestlers have way more experience. You can't expect Logan to be that good, so we'll never criticise him like that. And I will always be honest with Logan Paul. As much as I like Logan Paul, I'm not sure I like WWE's booking of Logan Paul, but I will always be honest. And this was a great performance for Logan Paul. This was a fantastic match for both Logan Paul and John Cena. Wow, you can see John Cena's age in the ring sometimes. Some moves are a bit slow or stiff. The same with Logan Paul. He's still not fully defined as a wrestler. There's still some moves where he's a bit off in terms of targeting and his positioning. He's a bit off in terms of his timing, like the Cesaro uppercut, the standing moonsault. They were a bit off, but let's not think negatively. That was a great match. I'm seeing a lot of people saying this was the best match of John Cena's retirement tour. I have to disagree. Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam was the best match of John Cena's retirement tour. Yes, anyways. Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam, that was John Cena's best match of this year. That should have been the match at WrestleMania, right? But whatever. That was his best match this year. This match with Logan Paul, I'd say, was on par with the CM Punk match at Night of Champions, for me personally. But I can't remember that match perfectly well, so maybe it might be better than the CM Punk one. I don't know. I love that they paid homage to Cesaro, AJ Styles, Dolph Ziggler, and Baron Corbin. The End of Days is my favourite wrestling move of all time, and John Cena, my favourite wrestler of all time, hit the End of Days. I loved that. I loved it. Let's just be honest. And thank God the finish was as it should have been. John Cena got the win. If Logan Paul had to beat John Cena, I would have been so mad. I don't know where they go with John Cena from here, though. I'm guessing Brock Lesnar, but if they're not planning on doing something with it, don't tease it, yeah? Take was somewhere good. I think he's got probably 9 appearances left now. It's not a lot. It's really not a lot. So let's make it count. Let's make his appearances some matches, yeah? If he's going to show up and talk no more than once, he's got 9 appearances left. If he's coming on SmackDown, put him in a match. If he's coming to the PLEs, put him in a match. I think we've only got 3 or 4 PLEs left this year. We've got the next one's WrestlePalooza. at the end of September, and then we've got Crown Jewel mid-October, and then we'll probably have a Survivor Series in November maybe, and then a Saturday night's main event. So that's probably max 4 matches for John Cena on PLEs. He might not even be on WrestlePalooza. So or Crown Jewel. He's on one or the other. Do you know what I mean? So maybe 3. So these appearances on Raw and SmackDown, got to make them count. Put them in matches with people, man. I need it. But finally, the main event. I said the winner was going to be Seth Rollins. Boys, all right. This was easily match of the night. Sorry, John Cena, Logan Paul cooked. It really did. But a fatal 4-way with these 4 men. Right, say what you want about Jey Uso and being overhyped. Say what you want about LA Knight being too old and overhyped. Say what you want about CM Punk being washed and overhyped. Often at times it does feel like that because WWE tries to shove them down our throats when they're not necessarily always the best option at the time. But let's not forget the capabilities Jey Uso has in that ring. Are you remembering the bangers with the Usos? Let's not forget the capabilities CM Punk has in the ring and LA Knight himself. And obviously Seth Rollins. These 4 put on a goddamn banger, man. They put on a goddamn banger. And with LA Knight flying through the table, with Jey Uso getting taken out, and after his hurt ribs and everything, the ending was there. CM Punk was about to hit Seth Rollins with a second GTS and pin Seth Rollins while everyone else was down. There comes the low blow. Who could it be? Because Paul's in the hospital. Braun and Bronson have been removed from the building. Who could it be? Well, I could tell it was a woman. That's when it told me. Becky Lynch. It makes sense. She's on our own heel run right now where everyone's up our arse for something. And she always is complaining how she's the greatest. And Seth Rollins has this faction called The Vision where he gets the greatest mouthpiece and genius in the business, Paul Heyman. He gets what he considers the greatest wrestler right now himself, Seth Rollins, and the vision he has for the future. Braun Breakout and Bronson Reed. Why would he not get his own wife, who is arguably, actually undebatably, the best in WWE right now and maybe of all time, Becky Lynch? It makes sense. And immediately when I saw Becky cost CM Punk and talking all that shit, holding the world title, first of all, the men's world title looked good on Becky Lynch, can I just say? It got me thinking AJ Lee. Now, I'll get deeper into that when I talk about my Raw review, but imagine CM Punk, AJ Lee versus Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch. That is a WrestleMania main event. We've never had a tag team match in the main event of WrestleMania. I'm not counting on night 1 BS. I'm talking night 2. Night 2 is the main event, right? We've never had a mixed tag in the main event of WrestleMania. Could you imagine? I mean, that's not happening at WrestleMania, but I'm saying that is how big that match is. It is that big. And even then, win, lose, draw for whoever wins that, it doesn't matter. AJ Lee one-on-one with Becky Lynch without a title on the line is a big match. Put a title on the line, bang. CM Punk never lets us down. One-on-one for the title after Seth stole it from Punk. There's so much room to cook here. There's so much room to cook. And I'm too ready for it. I am too ready for it. Clash in Paris wasn't the most exciting PLE. But I think if you tuned in for the first match and the last 2, you were satisfied. The 3 in the middle weren't necessarily needed. Becky was good. Nikki was good. Sheamus and Rusev could have happened on an episode of Monday Night Raw, and Street Profits and Wyatt Six definitely could have happened on an episode of SmackDown. AJ Dom should have been on that show, but it is what it is. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, subscribe. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.